Welcome to Spirit Baby Radio. You are about to join a frequency that will open your mind, expand your heart, and activate your spirit. Thank you for joining Kelly Meehan, Spirit Baby Medium and Master Energy Therapist. Kelly believes in the power of the Spirit Baby. She speaks with babies in spirit before life, in the womb, and after life. She supports, teaches, and guides others to tune into the intuitive and mystical parts of life for greater wisdom. Join her in meeting your soul baby and build your connection and relationship with deep love and trust. Welcome to Spirit Baby Radio with your host, Spirit Baby Medium, Kelly.
Hello, welcome to episode 137, April 29, 2022. Your mind is secure to your journey with Spirit Baby Communication. How do I do Spirit Baby Communication? Where are you, Spirit Baby? How do I heal? Are you coming? Are you coming back? Will I ever see you? What do I need? Of course, these can be very powerful questions as my voice is coming back after it has not been very present. And we are in April, and we're at the end of April. My gosh, we made it through April. And April to me is always a very big month, and I think I shared this even in the episodes maybe weeks ahead, but it's dedicated to not just birthday month, the day I was born, but it is the day that my mother passed away as well, the month I should say. And I always say that we have hit the 5-year honoring anniversary of her. And I always say that she has 2 death days because, which I feel like she did this on purpose, she died on Easter 5 years ago. But as we know, Easter changes, and she was a Catholic woman. And so it's kind of her humor, I feel, that she's taking Jesus' Day, right? She's taken over, which would be something joyous and loving that she would do. And so just dedicating, of course, this podcast, I like to create dedications at times. And I shared this dedication in the middle of the month with a podcast with baby Eric. And so we're holding so much love, connection, and truth to the death space and to life and creation. And so, yes, we are here in April. And this episode, I really like this because we're going to talk about different questions I actually asked on Instagram, which you will probably see me going in on live, and also just asking questions from time to time. I know questions, curiosities, whether you're in conception, in pregnancy, or birth loss, maybe there's some deepening question or thought or idea or, gosh, this is like really hanging around me. What does it mean? And here's my disclaimer on what things mean. Yes, I've been doing this for a very long time, but I want you to know, everyone that's tuning in, that we are connecting with really the philosophy that comes through my own consciousness, the frequency that I sustain and hold within worlds between worlds. And what I mean by that, there's no factual, there's no this is how it is. I'm only sharing with you what I've experienced, excuse me, what I've experienced in the many years and the thousands of people that I've connected with. But I also want to be very conscientious that, and because this really bothers me sometimes in New Ageism and metaphysics, we create a belief system around something and then it becomes a truth, right? And that's just what it is. This is our reality. But I also feel like there are, deviances or diversions, whatever the word is, from that kind of idea. There's no one-fits-all approach. How about that? There's not like, okay, this is what this is, and bam, we're done. I feel like we have to always leave space for growth. It's like, expanding your arms. Like you don't always want to keep them tucked in and doing your little routine every day. And then you're like, what if I could stretch more? What is that stretching like? How does it feel? Does it change the perception of my reality? And I'd like to believe that most of us are always in a shifting consciousness. And I feel that is very important to me. Even if I reflect on who I was 2 years ago, is not who I am right now. And I accept the gorgeousness and gloriousness of who I continue to become and how I get to share that and how I get to see others share that and become. And so some of the questions that I pulled, I'm going to go a little bit more deeper into them. And, of course, maybe more dialogue will come around these questions in my next IG Live, or even in random posts I have a Facebook page and I have a Facebook group. I have 2 groups. I should probably tell you what these groups are called. One of them, the one that I know, let me see here. The one that I know is for birth loss, miscarriage, stillbirth, infancy loss. It is called The Afterlife of Spirit Baby. And that, again, is supporting loss specifically. It's a gorgeous and amazing group of just, love and so much connection with what I call mediumship and motherhood, which will be another group coming out soon. And the other group, which is just, conception, pregnancy, birth loss too, but it's really focused on conception, pregnancy, spiritual experiences, emotional experiences, questions, thoughts, ideas, shares, conception, pregnancy, energies around communication. And that one is called Spirit Babies, Awakening to Conception, Pregnancy, and Parenthood. And that is, again, that is a group. And that may be something you've seen. I have it, of course, on the website. If you're tuning into any kind of iTunes or any of those, it's probably not on there. I'm not very schooled in that show notes thing, but maybe it is. I don't know. But you can always find it at my website, of course, as well. I have people like to binge listen. I have almost 130 episodes of Spirit Baby Radio, and you can literally click one after another if you want. I have not just conversations with me and my higher reality of Spirit Baby communication, but I also have conversations with experts, people that I've connected with throughout the years. Some I stayed in touch with, some I have not, and just where that continues to expand into, and that work, and all about the energy of Spirit Baby awareness, Spirit Baby connection, Spirit Baby communication. So the first question I have here is, I just recently introduced myself to Spirit Babies, and I'm looking for Spirit Baby medium to facilitate my intro and communication. I'm not sure if that's a question, but it feels like more of a statement. And as you know, that would be me, Spirit Baby medium original, and how to facilitate, communication through not just private one-on-one work, but also through drop-in membership. I can't say it enough, the Spirit Baby Collective monthly membership. It doesn't have millions of people in it. You're seen and heard. It's a very nice, growing, small community, and we get to do lives every month and get a really one-on-one experience with me and Spirit Baby communication. And, of course, like I said, there's programs, there's CoCreation, a journey with Spirit Baby coming up soon, which is a really exciting opportunity because it never, ever comes out in the mid-year. And but there's such an interest and demand for this deeper Spirit Baby communication experience, and we got to get it going. And that's for conception, of course, and then loss to conception as well. And so that, not much of a question, but I'm answering that, and more, it feels like a statement. But there's your response, we'll say. So here we go. I have a question. This question here that came through was, with my first pregnancy, I could see 3 babies in spirit. One of them was my first baby. The second was to be my second daughter, who's also come Earthside. I had one more baby left, but when I try and communicate with him, I go blank. How or why can we get around this? There could be so many reasons for that in general, right? First of all, congratulations, you're highly intuitive. You have a connection, you trust it with your babies, and you just move with it. It's just like breathing air, and I want people to hear that and know that. It doesn't have to be this big battle. This battle becomes the wit of the minds, and that back and forth, that back and forth. It just doesn't have to be that way. But you get to decide that on some level, right? You get to decide where you want to expand into that natural, intuitive part of you in this connection with the Spirit Baby being and a connection with your life. And so there's a few things, as I was saying. So the particular being that's in communication with you may not have to prove anything to you. They may not have to share anything the way you want to. And maybe their frequency is a different frequency than yours, and so you're not meeting. And this happens a lot, it's kind of like those that can tap into a lot of different realities, you are at a bandwidth and frequency to do that. And it's even like people. Have you ever met people? I've done it. This has happened to me for years and years and years. I meet people, they don't take me in. I could tell the way they're looking at me with a blank stare. And then yet again, time goes on. Oh, yeah, hi, yeah, I met you before. Oh, you did? I'm like, yeah, I knew that they wouldn't remember me. This happened quite often with me and my husband, especially with different events we used to go to. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. I know people can't see me. It's fine. And so, again, we're all at different tones. Let's say like we're all singing bowls. We all have a different tone and sound with it, right? Because every singing bowl is going to be different to the person that's in communication with that singing bowl. And so your tone, your sound may not be in that space as of yet, or you're getting there. So it's not like you're not there enough, but you're getting there. You're tuning into wherever the frequency is. And when you have earth children, this is my thing too that's really big. The earth children around you, especially between the 1 to 6 year window, is there's that cord of attachment. That's what, some would say that's all about attachment parenting from all that time. And then even on, but children require a lot of energy from their parents and guardians, and some more than others. And sometimes if a parent has traumas and things, then it requires even, deeper stuff around that. And so I'd say there's different answers. So one, it could be frequency, not in connection as of yet. Or it could be 2, you have other earth children, so that takes up a lot of energy. So baby's probably being very select in how they're connecting and communicating. And those would be, the biggest 2 things. I'm not going to go into, well, maybe you're not doing it right or you're not connected. You're intuitive. I can even feel by your question. So it doesn't even matter. We don't even have to go deeper into that. And so sitting in the silence, sitting in your quiet, and just continuing to receive and seeing what that being's, communication is with you. Well, thank you for that question. That was a good one. Next question I have here. Babies who left Earthside early, babies who have left Earth early, do they have the choice to come back? Now, this seems to be a really, really big question. I almost feel like that could have came in a few times. I may have missed that. Yeah, I feel like someone else said that too. What is this? What is this? And this is something I've answered many times before. It's in my podcast. And the answer is yes and no. Uh-oh, you're not going to like that answer. We have this idea on Earth. It seems so enchanting and so magical. Your baby's in miscarriage. They're coming back. Oh, yay, everybody has a happy heart. But that's not always true. And does it really matter? Do you need to have that information? Why? Why do we need that information? Because our grief is really big. Our heart hurts. Where is this being? Are they coming back? Do they not like me? Whatever comes up, what is coming up in that connection of the heart space? What is that? That's where I would go. And maybe your baby will come back, and it's been recorded, and maybe I'll do a whole podcast on that and look through the books. There's a lot of books and stories, absolutely, through even termination, through miscarriage, where a baby come back, and there was factual things in the physical reality and emotional energy that really proved that. And sometimes children will say it when they're old enough to have words. Hey, I was in mommy's belly before. Or, hey, I remember that, or I remember this. So, yes, it does happen, but you get to do what you want with that. You can be in curiosity, which is something I love to teach about, and say, hey, I wonder if this being will come back, or I feel like they will. You're allowed to feel and connect with your own higher self, your own really clear, powerful, intuitive connection. So you get to figure it out. And so I want you to figure it out, right? And there are times where I've seen babies, okay, I could see them coming back into an earth body. It's the same baby. And other times I'm not really sure. They're not really giving strong energies around that. It doesn't mean they're not. I feel like it's maybe not so important. And what's the hang-up about it, right? I know what the hang-up is about it because there's heartache, there's pain, there's confusion. But I'm just throwing it out there. I want people to expand and to sit in the curiosity of the self. I actually had a baby one time who did come Earthside, who had medical negligence and did not make it. And this being was very clear to me to want to tell his mom, and I'm sure it created more heartache for a moment. I say for a moment because she came back for more sessions. But this being was just so incredible and sharing his reality and his world in such a beautiful way. And he said he didn't need to come back. She needed him, of course. We know how that works. But he didn't need to come back. He felt like he evolved into whatever that connection was with his timeline, his reality, and how amazing that his mother, his guardian, his light did that with him. They had this experience together. And then, timeline shift in reality, and then he was going. I don't want to say he was destined to go or he wrote an agreement to go. He's just going. And you can look at those in different ways. I know people love, love, love agreements. Everyone loves agreements. We have agreements when we come into this world. We have contracts. Everybody says that. And is that another belief system that we've created? Can your contract change even? Can you rip it up? Can you sign it differently, right? Again, curiosity, because when we start using the words contracts, I feel like we're pretty much saying that things are inked in pen in a signed way that's unchangeable. And that may be completely false, because that's what we do, human consciousness. We kind of create deeper things around things that don't need to be. And so there could be this very loosely contracted idea on who's coming into this reality, but is that true? Is that not true? Can we change the timelines instantly and shift, right? And if you've seen my last Instagram post a few posts ago, I talk about timelines and parallel realities. Not too sci-fi there, but I am changing. I am seeing potential energy. Why are these timelines of pregnancy, mommy holding baby, pregnant stomach? Where are these timelines, and how are their parents connecting to those timelines? I can't make you connect to your timeline. You have to know how to shift into the frequency of it. I can sustain and hold that frequency with you. That's what I do with consistent people. Where is the frequency? Let's go into it and stay in that energy, right? I'm very good at that because my physical empath abilities, and we'll call my starness, I don't know, I'm able to do that. And I want people to have success in that energy and be present to the awakening and connection with their children to come Earthside. And so we'll leave that question. Maybe that could be even a workshop on that whole idea and that connection. We can build that. If people are curious, maybe I'll throw it out there and see what the energy is grabbing on. So that's a great question. Thank you. Someone asked, what is the best name to choose for my baby? Well, individually, your best name, I'm not sure. I don't have your name here. I don't know your energy. Makes me feel like you have a lot of name ideas picked out. But some people will say baby picks their name, and that's fine. Some people say, I want to pick the name, and that's fine too. You get to go with your baby naming themselves, or you naming baby, or family naming baby, or whatever comes up. There's no right or wrong way to do that. My son did not like his name. He wanted his past life name, and I said no. I said no. I didn't want to call him this ancient, old 1930s name. It just wasn't working for me. He had to be okay with releasing that name. So that's how that works. And of course, then I named him a part of nature. It's kind of an ancient new name. It's Forest is what I named him. I named him that. He didn't name himself that, I don't believe. Because I thought, my children are nature, part of nature, and Forest felt, it can be an ancient, it can be an old name too, I think about it now. But Forest, my nature, and it's the forest, not the woodsman forest. It's forest of earth and soil and wood and sun, the forest, the trees. Yeah, so that's how I came up with that. And of course, I have my older son now. I should share about his name. It's Rain. And I felt like I named him too because I just didn't have many names. And I love nature, and now it's so powerful coming into where I am 11 years later, because he's 11 now. My oldest is everything is about nature, co-creating with nature. And I literally have my rainforest. I did not name them on purpose. But what I found out is that the rainforest, as we know, is a very sacred, ancient place, and I literally have the embodiment of my rainforest in this reality, in this timeline, which to me makes me giddy and excited. And I don't know what that means, but it hit me just recently that when we name, it's we don't even realize the power in the name and what comes later. Who knows, right? We get to be present to whatever it is. So thank you for that. And I have here the next question I have going to read the Instagram, and I encourage those to connect with this Instagram account at signs_from_Shay, SHAY. And the reason why I'm giving the Instagram is because she shared her name in there, and so I want to give credit to our beautiful Shay, who is, on the light side in heaven, who is a light child of light. And she says here, I have two questions. Firstly, when you have a child of light and you want to connect with them in meditation, but you can't visualize what they look like in spirit, what can you do? Like, I know that Shay probably doesn't look like a baby anymore, so it blocks me. Secondly, I would love more information on reincarnation. How often do miscarried, aborted, or stillbirth babies come back to the same mom versus another family? Is this less common in children of light? If they come back, does that mean you lose them as spirit guides, or you won't reunite with them when we leave this earth? Okay, there's a lot. First two questions. There's many questions in there, and I've kind of touched a little bit about moving into the same body, or I didn't talk about family even. Will they go to another family, another energy, another system? That's absolutely possible too. But you get to do what you want with that in this reality. There's no factual, like it has to be this way or this way. And you, my dearest, I know you, you're a love being and you have deep connection on so many levels. You are tuning in and receiving where your own higher self, your own God force is bringing you into. And Shay is a part of that journey, right? He's a part of that connection with you. And there's going to be a lot of mystery, but also a lot of love and a lot of realizations, I feel. And so, let's see, if you come back, does that mean, yeah, so what does that mean if a spirit comes back? Do you lose them as a spirit guide? Probably. But your guide is like in earth body. So you get to look at that how you want to. And I find when there is you have to really tune in and feel into this, right? You have to like have a deep knowing in your heart. There's no, anyone that's tuning in and has loss of this level, just rip up all those books. Just let them like dissolve and sit with yourself. Sit with your own higher self, your own higher intelligence, and see what really speaks to you. And if you get nothing and you get blank, that's okay too. Just come back to it. Maybe your frequency isn't ready to see what's next. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like, oh, you're doing it wrong. It's not right. Be curious. That's what I would say more than anything with a lot of this load of questions here. And reincarnation, I feel like that's a whole other big topic. I did do a past life, a podcast with Maria, and you could go back in the episodes and find that. And she does fertility and spirit baby work as well. And I haven't much conversations on reincarnation. I have a different perspective around that. I don't know if we really need that information. So that's the piece too. But if you feel called to that information, go for it, research it. Reincarnation, the Spirit Baby Summit, Carol Bowman. Go find Carol Bowman. She is I'm calling her the Queen of Reincarnation Awareness. She was on Oprah. She was on my Spirit Baby Summit in 2017. And she has a lot of information about that. Like, she has major, massive research. She's very respected worldwide. I would go from Carol Bowman and then spring off to that and look more and deeper into like her community and see and get more information around that. It could be really healing and purposeful. Well, thank you for those questions. And let's see, let's see if I have the time. I have a few more questions. I may have to save one or two for another time. So the next one here is, would love to learn more about different kinds of spirits, crystal children, rainbow children, and etc., right? And I've posted this in the Facebook group, like some articles about crystal, rainbow, indigo children, which is fun to read. And the only thing I could take you into is who's writing about it, what are they saying, what is their consciousness, what is the frequency they're bringing. There's so many really great different sites that kind of come up around it, and you have to see where you resonate with. But Doreen Virtue and Lee Carroll are the big people that have brought that information in. And some would say Lee Carroll got it from a woman called a woman called Nancy Tappy. I could be saying that wrong. So Lee Carroll and Janet Tober wrote books and conferences and materials and their ideas of indigo children, their abilities, interpretations, the evolution of the human, how they possess abilities and telepathy and creativity. And I also like The Children of Now by Meg Blackburn Losey. And so that's a book called The Children of Now. And of course, again, there's all these other books that, with other different people, talking about this topic. And so I can't really do much for that topic. Yeah, I have seen rainbow energy with a lot of people recently, and it doesn't mean a miscarriage energy. Again, remember, symbolism and energy means different things for different people at different times. And so, but if you're looking at like, oh, crystal, children, rainbow, indigo, I know a majority of people that are listening are indigo crystal. You just are. Like, there's just, I feel like we've maybe even come through that energy and made it stronger. Like, we've created this, this crystalline web around the world. We're all holding hands. We're like, we're in it. So maybe we don't even need it anymore. We're just kind of, pushing through the ceiling. So thank you for that question. Let's see here. Okay, let me try to get these two last questions in, and then I got to go see somebody. I got to, support somebody's heart today with baby being. The connection with babies coming to Earth and their ancestors. Without going too much into numerology, I found out that my mom and I share the same birth path, number 8. I've heard that our souls choose the souls of our parents in this lifetime. Would be interested to know more about it. Thank you for opening the space. Again, I feel like I was trying to answer this a little bit. This is like a whole podcast, probably on its own. And I'm going to have somebody actually talk about ancestors in the next few months. It's going to be so freaking exciting. And it's going to be such a great topic. And you can get more insight on ancestors and even spirit baby, or if there's struggles, or how to bring the ancestor energy into this timeline and your children in conception, pregnancy, and healing loss. And so I'm going to leave that really big, important part. And I've had ancestor things come up a lot in different sessions. Numerology, I'm totally not schooled on that. But I do, there to be something to be curious about. Maybe somebody that specializes more in that to see the numbers and what that really, really resonates with, connects with. And again, it could be just curious mystery, right? And again, we talked about choosing the souls, the path. Yeah. There's a lot to that, Again, I remember, and I'll share this just kind of came to me, when my mother passed away, I had a lot, this is amazing things happen, and I didn't really know. I know I'm a sensitive, and I hear and whatever, things, but I knew probably days before, I can see that she was going to die, and I'm not the Grim Reaper, but, I could see when souls are leaving, and it's very obvious to me. It just is obvious. It's as obvious if you just looked at someone and they're wearing a big red clown hat and you're like, hey, you just know. My feelings are so strong around it. It's not like, oh, I got to try to see it. You just know, it's just there. And so with her energy, when she passed, and I was in communication with her very strongly, because she was like, I'm here. I'm going to be shouting at you in the middle of my tears and grief. There's this beaming light of energy. It was very surreal, right? Because I'm trying to be in one place and the other. And one of the things she said to me, which is always powerful, and I've shared this before, and I absolutely love it, is that she didn't want me to grieve for her, right? We hear this a lot. They don't want us to grieve those that have crossed over, and it's so hard, right? Because we feel it. It's just so kinesthetic, and it's like my body gets possessed by grief, we'll say. And so she said to me, I'm just one of many mothers. And I was like, whoa. When she said that, it blew me away. I heard this inside my head. And I'm like, what does that even mean? My inner skeptic and questioner was like, what does that even mean? And really when I sat with it and just let it permeate through me, she literally showed me that I had so many mothers in so many lifetimes, not just Earth lifetimes, other realities of guardians and love from that source, right? We talk about source. I feel like when we're born into this world, really our mother is our source. She is our God. She is our everything. And so, and if we've had turbulent relationships, it makes it really, really challenging, right? And I'm one of those people, so I get it. And not to the own intention of our own trauma, but it's what trickles down in the lineage. And so then, someone's doing all the friggin' deep work, getting in the pit and shoveling it all out and trying to restructure it in the most difficult and painful ways. And yet, it's being asked of us, right? It's being asked of us, and which is probably why I do the work that I do, for sure. And I just have a lot of mother wounds, mother stuff. And so one of many mothers, and she made me realize is that my attachment to her is very real, but it wasn't so necessary because this is just one experience. So there can be these soul contracts, agreements, whatever you want to call them. But as you heard me talk about earlier, I like to live in the unknown and the curiosity of it. Again, such an intimate felt sense experience. Because, again, when she said that to me, it was so profound. And look, 5 years later, I'm still talking about it because it made me feel like I got hugged at that moment in the most beautiful, loving energy of just wrapped around me and really just telling me that all this stuff that we did in this earth life had its own purpose. And she is who she is, even though I needed her to be something different because I came in with a different consciousness, and it was very challenging on what my role was supposed to be for her the moment I was born. It was supposed to be to take care of her. And that wasn't a very good role for me. It made me sick, physically sick. And, of course, there's emotional energy in there, too. But so, again, you can, do we choose, do we not? Again, big conversation, and you guys got me all going deeper into this. I'm sure you can sense the tone of my energy change, but it's a very intimate, deep conversation, and maybe I'll do a podcast, this will be good, on moms. I could do mom energy, our own mom or wounded mom stuff. Oh, boy, you guys are going to learn a lot about my reality if that one comes out. I probably know stuff about it anyways, but I'm not shy to share these things because we all have a story, we all have an imprint, and it does include trauma. It really does. And what do we do with that, though? Do we just sit in the darkness and institutionalize ourselves to emotional abuse and pain and suffering? We can. I've seen it done. I've seen my mom do that. And so, no, we get to break through. We get to hold each other, love each other, and rise and rise and rise. And so, yeah, maybe I'll do another future, episode on that. So thank you for that very deep question. My final question here is, I'd like to ask about spirit babies and their connection with the birth keepers that support them transitioning to Mother Earth. Have you had this experience? Birth keepers, yay, midwives, doulas, therapists, coaches, healers, spiritualists, anyone who is the birth keeper, and I love that birth keeper term, and where that comes from. The birth keeper, what's her name? I was just in connection with her conversation. Anyways, spirit babies are connected to birth keepers. They are seeing your light. They are in communication with you. This is why I opened up the Spirit Baby Academy. This is why the Spirit Baby mentorship that started last year and even further years ago, and I took a break in between. I am calling all those birth keepers. I'm here to bridge those energies even more and deeper because we have a beautiful mission in this world to do, and we need the birth keepers to activate their heart light, activate their superpowers and be of service because this world is pushing into dark edges, right? We know that with maternity, and as many know, I do feel like I'm a birth advocate on that level. I, did protests and marched and part of different groups and organizations because we're just still not there. We're still not being fair and treating women, the sacred vessels of creation, women, people who have a womb that are creating life. This should not be a burn and turn, disease-oriented reality. And so there is something with these birth keepers you're stepping into. And I've seen in between worlds, I've seen how babies come through. I've seen different things throughout my many years on that connection. And I do see people that are in connection with I call the baby realms. And there's an arc of energy of light that I've seen behind them at times where I know that they're in communication and that they're meant to do deeper work to bring that in, to bring that forward. And so I hope I answered that right. So, yeah, you can support them transitioning to Mother Earth. I love that question. And thank you for that question. There's so much more even to say about that. And I want to, wherever you are at, whatever questions or maybe there's more questions coming through, absolutely email me at spiritbabymedium@gmail.com, and I will do this again and maybe even do a live. I do love this live of connecting with people and their stories. As you've seen, I've done at the beginning of the year with 2 ladies with conception and their journey. I just had a recent couples with loss to conception journey, and I'd like to have some pregnancy people coming on, talking about their story. And if you've worked with me, it's a bonus. If you haven't, it's okay too, but I tend to attract certain energies. And just other conversations, even all kinds of conception. Solo conception would be great conversation to have. LGBTQ community conversations, come on in. And so, again, you know where my email is, and, you know, wherever you're at on your Spirit Baby reality, keep doing it, keep connecting, keep opening your heart, keep grounding. Baby Being is in collaboration with you, and just keep on keeping on. And I want to thank you for joining. Your Mind is the Cure to Your Journey with Spirit Baby Communication, episode 137, April 29th, 2022.
This is Spirit Baby Radio. Thank you for joining Kelly in the energy of awareness, love, healing, and soul communication. Please join the next episode at www.soulbabycommunication.com.